The tribe sees itself as a steward of our lands. And in order to be stewards of our land, we need to be able to manage it appropriately. Bedu, Kelly Coates Kuritka, Nahonko Dana Ete. Friends, Kelly Coates is my name, and I am of the Cow Creek people. And I am the Director of Natural Resources for the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians. We're a sovereign nation. We are our own government. And oftentimes we can be put into a stakeholder category, or we'll be told the public process for review of this project will be this time period. We are not a part of the public. We are not a stakeholder. We are a sovereign government. And so as such, we need to be consulted with as you would with any other sovereign government before a project happens, which to us should be early and often, and it should be before a project starts, so we can provide feedback on how we think that project may impact our lands and our resources. When we received lands in the 2018 Western Oregon Tribal Fairness Act, that restored a portion of our reservation lands, a little over 17,500 acres. But those lands are non-contiguous, which means it's a checkerboard ownership. We still have members of the public, our community members, that go out onto tribal lands. For example, there's a popular fishing spot in the South Umpqua called Red Top Pond. That is now on tribal lands, former BLM ONC lands, but they are part of our reservation lands now, and members of the public are still welcome to go up and go fishing. So this also affects the way that we manage the lands, understanding that not only are we managing for our tribal members, we're managing our lands for our entire community. And really sometimes the state of Oregon, because these lands are open to folks that can come from all over the state to visit. And so we really try to reach out and have a partnership approach to our lands management, especially in those areas where it's checkerboard and we're right there with our neighbors, and we want to be good neighbors and good partners.
The Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians are unique from the other tribes in Oregon in many ways. It's often been said if you spoke to one tribe, you've spoke to one tribe. In the case of Cow Creek, we have a unique history because we were one of the first two tribes in the Pacific Northwest to sign a treaty with the United States government in 1853. And unfortunately, in 1855, when the wars broke out in the Rogue Valley, it brought a lot of unrest to the area. Many of our tribal members remained in the area and hid, and eventually took their existence underground. It wasn't until the early 1900s, the 1910s and the 20s, that our ancestors were successful in getting bills introduced into Congress. 5 times there were bills introduced to restore our tribe. And not having a tax base, tribes depend on their economic development and their natural resources. We have had to rely on our revenues from our gaming to fund our governmental operations, and through those funds we're able to offer programs that are education, housing, social services, things that enrich people's lives. As CEO of the Cow Creek Tribe, I have many opportunities to work closely with state agencies, and we work very closely on issues that not only are related to the tribe, but issues that the state engages in that can affect tribes in general. A lot of times we get mired down in the wording of what consultation is and what consultation means to each tribe. I look at it in a very simplistic manner. Consultation is exactly what the word is defined as. And for Cow Creek, that consultation means communication. Communication is key to consultation, and that is something that I hope can be educated not only into tribal staff, but into state agencies as well, because so often we're overlooked when it comes to decisions that are made by the state. And we don't want to be roadblocks. We want to move forward as well. But being consulted and having that open line of communication is something that is essential.
I really hope that people understand that tribes are not trying to oppose them, they're trying to work with them. And that the sovereignty that they have worked so hard for. And it's in we have treaties with the United States government that we want to have fulfilled. And our people have worked very hard to become self-sufficient and to be recognized as a government. And that is important to all of us. And just as it's important to every state to be recognized as a state, we are a tribal government just like the state is the state of Oregon. And we want people to recognize that and to treat us with the same respect as the state government is treated, and understand that we want to work with them for the betterment of the state and for the tribal citizens and our community. So our goal is to protect and to preserve our tribal sovereignty to benefit the citizens of our tribe, and to continue to educate, employ, and give them the ability to provide for themselves. We're the second largest employer in Douglas County. Education is very important to us, K through 12. Our main goal is to create learners. We need consultation before the state starts a project and have them come to us before the beginning of anything that's going to affect the tribes in any way.
On the Umpqua Rogue Divide, there is an area known as the Huckleberry Special Interest Area, and it is a culturally significant area for our tribe. And the fires of 2017 and 2018 burned through that special interest area and affected some of the areas where tribal members go and gather. And through a partnership with the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest and the Umpqua National Forest, they came to us and said, hey, right before the fires broke out, we went out and we collected seeds from huckleberry plants from that area. We'd really like to partner with you to go up and replant that burned area. We know it's significant for you all. We were hoping you'd like to join us on this. Because they had the conversation with us early and before the project started, we were able to be a project partner on that. We were able to be a part of the grant that they applied for to get the funding to do it. We were able to bring in not only match dollars for the project, but also staff capacity and time to work on it. And as a result, we were able to replant over 11,000 huckleberry plants on the Rogue Umpqua Divide. And the project is especially meaningful for me as a tribal member. This is an area that is incredibly significant for me and for my family. It's somewhere we go at least once a year. I take my kids there. I was able to take my daughter, who is also a tribal member, up to help do the replanting and explain to her what happened, that the fires came through, but this is our chance to give back to the land. The tribe looks 7 generations ahead for what we do with everything, especially our land management. And most of the work that we do in natural resources, I won't get to see the results of that within my lifetime. But maybe my children, my grandchildren, my grandchildren's grandchildren will get to see those benefits. So that's how we plan.